going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I recorded this video a few weeks ago, knowing that I would not be able to play during Thanksgiving, or the week of Thanksgiving, excuse me. So this was taken a few weeks ago. I'm supposed to be playing 18 holes at my local home course, Blue Park, the 18 hole. But as you could probably tell by the title and seeing this first little piece right here of my putting, it's a little bit of foreshadowing about how the round goes. But anyway, we'll go ahead and jump into it here, because this round was not a good round. Okay, hole 1, 282, par 3. Decided to take one of my justices and try to throw it around the corner there, and I hit a tree halfway down. A new little line I've been working on this hole. I like the line a lot better than my old line, but it just didn't work out there. You can see the basket right there through the trees. I'm going to try to take my koi here and toss it around the trees, but I did not give it enough, and I ended up bouncing off the bottom of that tree over there. That's not a good upshot. I probably should have jump putted up there. So I left myself a 30-footer for par, and I do not make the putt. I gave it a good run, but I hit the basket. That's the first time I hit the basket in this round, and it's probably going to happen several more times throughout the round. Main reason of this video, I debated on posting this or not, but I decided to go ahead and do it because, you know, a lot of my videos, I'm not playing horrible, not playing too bad, but this is just a, you know, when things don't go well. So hole 2, 199, par 3, another justice shot. I end up throwing it a little too close to the ground here, and I didn't give it enough air to get all the way down to the basket, and it came out super wobbly too, as you can see. But I left myself another 35-footer for birdie, but I didn't make the birdie putt. I do end up making the comebacker for par, so I'll be 1 over through 2 holes, which normally on this course, this is a pretty easy birdie for me. So taking a par here kind of told me how this round was going to go. So hole 3, 342 par 3. I have before, you know, gotten all the way up there and birdied this hole, but I decided to take my ET1 and just give it a light toss down there. Threw it tomahawk. I can't remember what side I threw it on. I think it was on the smaller side, just to kind of give me, you know, needed to take an easy par here. Needed to get my approach game warmed up, really. So I did have a pretty good shot. I wanted to be a little bit closer to the bridge down there, but it wasn't too bad. So I do grab my justice here. I contemplated throwing the psychic just to kind of get, because it's a pretty steep hillside, but I just threw my justice instead, and I ended up pretty close to the basket, which gave me a pretty easy putt for par. So I'll be 1 over through 3 holes. Okay, hole 4, 335, par 3. Decided to take my ET1 again and toss it up there. This is a very, I'm not going to say easy, but it's fairly easy of a backhand hole. I threw it as a thumber, so it would go into the hill and not roll down into the creek. But this is a hole that I play for par. I got pretty far down there, left myself a decent opening. So I'm throwing my psychic here on a thumber as well, trying to get myself down there. And I make a good attempt at it. It just, the one time my psychic kicks up and rolls, it hit pretty close to the basket, probably about 5 feet, and it rolled about 20 feet away. It may be even farther than that. But it was not a good shot. So I ended up with this putt to save par, and I gave it a good attempt, gave it a good run, but clanged the top of the basket and then the cage. As you can see, frustration is starting to kick in here. The first 3 holes are birdieable for me. But I'll be 2 over after 4. And it's not going well, to say the least. So we'll move on to hole 5, which is a 208-foot par 3. This is a tough hole for me. Just getting through that gap down there is hard enough. Decided to go with my blade here on a slight flex line, just kind of let it fight out of it, didn't throw it very hard, and actually got up there pretty good. Gave myself a really decent look here at birdie. It was probably the best toss I've had on this hole in a long time. But again, I've made plenty of putts from a knee before. That's not the problem. The problem is I hit the chains on the right side, and it spit out. So again, another basket hit that doesn't go in, and after 5 holes, I'm 2 over. Okay, hole 6, 273, par 3. This is another hole I play for par. Took my Wanderlust from hole 13 disc golf and threw it just a little too much on hyzer. It's supposed to fly like a beat-in destroyer, and it usually turns for me pretty good. But it didn't, and it dumped really far to the right, and I've never been in this spot before. So decided to take my Psychic and just chuck it as hard as I could through that brush up there and try to get on top of the hill to give myself at least a look at par. I got up on the top of the hill. This tree was in my way from the putt, but I'm pretty proud of that upshot to give myself at least a look at it. It's a little wave at the camera because I didn't know if it could see me or not. But I do toss this way too much on hyzer. I wanted to move it around the tree, and I just didn't push it right enough. It probably wasn't too much hyzer. I just didn't throw it to the right far enough, and it came right in before and above the basket. So another bogey on a hole that really isn't all that difficult. So I'll be 3 over through 6, which is really, really bad. Hole 7, 159, par 3. I kind of took a different route here. I'm throwing my spice, throwing it at a flex, and I just held on to it way too long. I wanted to flex it around that right gap and then have it come back in and scoot up towards the basket. I held on it way too long. Had a decent little upshot here with the Justice, but it did hit a tree and kind of bounce back down the hill a little bit. It was not a gimme of a putt by any means. But uphill putt, I just told myself to aim at the band and let it drop in that way. And I do end up making this putt, just spoiler. So that will keep me 3 over through 7. I did hit the cage and it bounced in, but I still made the putt, so that's all that matters. All right, hole 8, 168, really short hole. There's a gap right there on the right side. You're going to see me throw my disc through there. That is the line that I take on this hole. I'm at a flex with my Justice, and I threw it okay. I just didn't give it the height. It's got to go right underneath that little brush right there and just through the gap, and I just didn't give it the height. Trying something a little different here. Trying to throw a scuba with a koi left-handed, and it didn't go very well at all. Gave it a shot with the Justice too. The Justice was a little bit better. It did hit a tree in front of the basket though. But another putt for my knee, and it's not but 15 feet, so this shouldn't be that hard of a make for me. I put myself in these positions fairly often, and I just pushed it to the right. So that will be another bogey for the round, and that will make me 4 over through 8, which is awful. At this point, normal rounds, I'm probably close to even 1 or 2 under if I make a couple of mistakes. Those first 3 holes are birdieable holes for me, but here I am at hole 8, 4 over. Trying to take a deep breath and recollect, refocus. Hole 9, 273, put par 3. It's really awkward tee, like where the tee is facing to where the hole is. And this is my first good shot of the day, in my opinion. Tossed my spice up there, pushed it around the trees in the corner, and I ended up with about a 10-footer, 10 or 15 feet. And at this point, I had kind of already decided I wasn't going to play the back 9 because when you're playing bad, thing for me is to not compound mistakes, and here I am compounding mistakes, and what that does for me, what makes me think about it, is I'm creating bad habits. So make that putt, first birdie of the round, only birdie of the round, not playing the whole 18. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next Friday. It's going to be a good video next Friday. I got 3 discs to review, so be there.